Hey, what's up? Thank you for listening, you. Welcome into the gas station. Recording this live 6 a.m. We're here till 6 p.m. at the Gas and Go. And Kenny is here. This is fantastic. You may know Kenny as a friend of mine or a friend of yours. Maybe you're from Long Island. Maybe you're from Pittsburgh, PA. Maybe you're one of his 3 million listeners who listen to him formerly on Sirius XM. Mornings, wake up with Kenny. Maybe you saw him star in the comedy Skippers, which you can stream on Amazon Prime if you haven't already. Anyway, thank you for tuning into the Gas and Go. We're the only podcast in the world broadcast live from a gas station on I-95. So my thanks to Kenny for coming down to the gas station to hang with me today, and my thanks to you for listening. I hope you get a laugh or two. And here's Kenny now. He's walking into the Gas and Go right now. What's up, man? What's up, man?
Hi. Great. How are you?
Everything's great.
Oh,
How
good.
are you, and how's your family?
Fine. I mean, they're all right. There's like so much illness going around with the children, but boy, that's such a downer. But
Hey, it's okay.
They bounce it back and forth to one another, but people are getting better. In fact, on Thanksgiving, I was invited over to my in-laws' house. Both my in-laws went down with some stomach thing and had to leave the Thanksgiving, couldn't even host it. So they made a call to the bullpen, and they called in the righty sous chef, me, and I've had to finish out all the Thanksgiving meal. But to be honest,
My gosh, man. Wow.
some people, they say, are born with it, and some people are just prepared for a moment like that. But I was neither.
Dude.
I was neither
mean,
because I'm sorry to interrupt you in the middle of your own gas station, but you seem to be helping a lot of customers. I helped make the Thanksgiving dinner, and I totally forgot what I was going to tell you about it, but it worked out fine. Like it was fine to make the Thanksgiving. It was fine. Everything worked out. Whatever. Here's what happened. So it was Thanksgiving. The kids have things to do and play with there. So before we went there, I was like, I can relax. My wife can drive. I can hit the bong if I wanted to because it's a holiday. And so I was like super relaxed. And then when I got there, it was like, everybody's sick. You got to finish the dinner. So I'm like cutting the turkey and like sweating. It went from like a serene, nice holiday to like, you better feed these 14 people, you piece of shit. It was horrible in that sense. It was just
Suddenly you were like basically inside an ambulance.
That's exactly it. Where it was just like, you got to get that liver out of there. You come on. And I'm like, I only heard about this in conversation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, before I get into how legendary a chef you are in general, I do want to send loving thoughts and healing thoughts to anyone who got sick. That must have been some surprise, huh?
Oh my God, it was awkward. Yeah, no, everybody was a little surprised, but when you got to leave, you got to leave. Thanks. Yeah, no, it was that they're healthier now. The adults are healthy. The kids are fine. I mean, they're fine. Everybody's back at school and stuff.
When you were launched into action, how was the kitchen set up for you? Was there a turkey?
Everything was done. I mean, all the hard stuff was done. But I let my real self slip out. Excuse me. And I just had to like do mash the potatoes, and carve the turkey, the 20-something pound turkey. But you know what? If I had any spots, any questions, I just let my inner hungry beast take over and be like, what would I do if I was eating this? Oh, I'd want that piece. I'd want that, and I just, instead of using my fingers and my mouth to pick the meat off that I would if I was eating it ravenously, I just used a knife and gave it to other people. So it's an absolutely disgusting thing to have to do, though. I mean, I can't believe that's, pulling stuffing out of the cavity of the bird after it's cooked doesn't make you want to eat the bread. I don't know. It doesn't to me, but maybe some people are like, oh, this gets me fired up to eat this.
No, not at all. And then people have the noive. They have the noive to be like, oh, you're a vegan? You're so unusual to vegans. And then meanwhile, they're tearing the innards out of a dead turkey.
I know. Yeah. It's like, it's
gnarly. It's gnarly.
You don't do this?
It's like, save me the innards. Disgusting.
Hey, hold on. Uncle Joey only shows up to eat the gizzards. That he
disgusting.
Pops in. It is disgusting. I mean, I like, I'll eat the bird, but I'm getting to a point with all of that stuff. I'm just like, I don't know. You know, I sit down, I'm like, salami? What? No, thanks. Like, what's salami? No, it's okay. You made it, almost took the exact letters of animals and switched them around. Salami? I don't even know. It doesn't make sense anyway. So I find it so unappetizing, but I don't mean to knock it. I mean, I ate meat, and I do eat meat, but I just don't eat as much as I used to.
First of all, how dare you knock salami?
Well, I know where you're broadcasting from today, and you're like, the heart of it all. So
no, I completely agree with you. Like, if one can't pass on salami, you need meat rehab.
If you're give me a piece of that. What is that? Is that salami? You can't even identify it. Which meat is this? Is this salami? Is this animal? Yep. It's animal? Yep. Okay. Good enough for me. And some people are like, my favorite sandwich is pepperoni and cheddar cheese. And it's okay. Yeah. What? By the way, what animal is pepperoni? I don't know. I'm sure everybody knows what animal pepperoni is. But it was like one of those moments. Just reach. You have to like go inside the bird. I mean, I was fine. I used the spoon. I enjoy cooking, and I enjoy cooking for other people. But to be thrust into Thanksgiving dinner, it all worked out totally fine. But so that's one thing. And now, Greggy, the family's preparing for post-Christmas. We're going to Disney World.
Whoa!
Huge.
Wow. That's gigantic.
Yeah, so, rather than get caught up in like, oh, this is going to be hard, I'm choosing to keep a PMA, a positive mental attitude, and I'm going into it like head on. I've been like doing research and planning out some effective days.
Oh, well, that's the only way to do it then, because you gotta love Disney World.
I think I have to, yeah. I haven't been in
What's
a
your
while.
plan of attack? I mean, yeah, you have no choice.
Well, we're doing it. We're like going all out. So we just committed to going all out. So we're going for a few days.
Second wedding?
So we might do second and first wedding. We might let two of the kids get married. I don't know. That's how magical Disney is, right? It's like order a cake and we'll have a wedding ceremony for your children. But it's so expensive. But in the current climate, it's like, who cares? No, it's not like who cares. It's the worst time ever to do it. But whatever.
No, you could pay in crypto.
Yeah, that's what we plan to do. We plan to pay in FTX or whatever the hell that is. I don't even know.
Yeah, pay in FTX. And while you're in Orlando at Disney World, will the kids be christened?
Well, Sydney she in Cinderella's castle, and then Duke has chosen
Buzz Lightyear
to take another route. Yeah, all he's doing is confession on Space Mountain. So he's just doing that. And then August is doing some weird ceremony in Marrakesh in Epcot. So, it's cool because, I'm just getting into it. It's like, I'm not going to choose, I could look at it a million, different ways, but I think the kids will have so much fun. So the more I get into it, the more fun the children have. We went to Midieval Times for Augie's 5th birthday. We took him to Baltimore to Midieval Times.
Oh my God! How was the Baltimore Midieval Times?
Ridiculous! It was incredible. They're incredible athletes. They're incredible. You go out to dinner. It's just a dinner. And then they have these guys jumping off real horses and having sword fights. Our particular knight, who lost the whole evening, he had a double sword fight. Like, had 2 sabers and was, wielding them. It was very exciting. The kids loved it, and so did some adults. I did.
Oh shit! Who assigns you a knight? How does that work?
You sit in a. Have you ever been to Midieval Times, or did you grow up in a loveless family? So at Midieval Times, it's cool because this is only my second time I went one, but you sit in sections. So there's like 6 sections, each representing different colors. And we were in the green section, so the Green Knight represents your section. And it's cool because everybody cheers for the Green Knight. You get all green paraphernalia, and then you know who you can cheer against. And then they have such a show where they create. It's nice. So if your knight ends up losing the games, the plot continues, and you end up still wanting to root for people. And there's a queen, and they do a really good job.
Oh, it's like religion.
And then you sit. It's exactly like religion. And then you sit there and you eat Costco chicken, rotisserie chicken, with your hands because they don't give you utensils.
Wait, when you got your chicken, were you like, "This is Costco"?
Right, it was the exact same meal I had when I went 20 years ago to Midieval Times. So it was the exact same meal. They hadn't changed anything. My oldest kid was into it. He was like screaming and like really screaming to a point where I was like, "Oh, easy." But he was into it, so it was exciting. It's so cool that he's getting older, like that he's 7, and I can like talk to him too because he's got his own thing, his own life. So, like I was like, all right, after our knight was out, I started cheering for the Blue Knight, and he was like, "What's wrong with you? The Blue Knight's the bad guy." Because I couldn't hear any of the plot, but he was following it word for word, and I'm like, "Go get him, Blue!" And he like hit me on the shoulder. He's like, "What's wrong with you?" Last night I went into a hole at like 3 a.m. I was up a little bit, and I'm like reading about the dinner that. How like it all transpired for Kanye and Nick, what's his face, to dine with Trump, and it was all apparently at the hand of whatever Giannis Monopoulopoulos is. It was such a wild story.
Wait, I just got a text that I have a parking ticket.
Oh, good God! What's crazy? Don't they know you work at the gas station?
Jesus Christ! Well,
right.
I have something to say about that because I find Kanye West deplorable, obviously. Detestable.
Yeah.
More than that. And then the other guy you mentioned, this Nick something, I hate that I even know his name. He's like a raging lunatic, and both of them should be put in jail for their hate speech.
Well, yeah, BBC just is doing like Louis Theroux is doing a new documentary series, and the only reason I know that Nick guy's he was the subject, part of the subject of one of the first episode, and it was like hate speech in America, and it was like that dude, Baked Alaska.
Which guy? Okay, what was Baked Alaska? He stormed the Capitol.
He was at the Capitol, but also at a at a rally, he gave it looked like he gave a very public Nazi salute that he's had to defend through his January 6th trials. And he's, and what it is these guys, not, the Nick dude's not in this category. He's like as hateful as they get, but he has like a vision of hate and a manifest. He's just totally different. But these other dudes, Baked Alaska, and I can't even remember who
there's Q Shaman.
Yeah, there was that dude, and then there was like some other hairy guy, like some hairy little guy. It's unfortunate, and I don't even mean to be judgmental of them, but
I do.
They never had a place. Like, in other words, they struck a chord with this shocking their humor had in the documentary. One of the dudes, he's like, Louis Theroux was like, "How would you describe yourself?" And he's like, "Comedian." And I'm like, "You motherfucker! You're not. I'm like a comedian. And he's just. And then they show back to how he like even with like a female streamer, how he's was completely inappropriate, horrible, dumb, stupid stuff, like not even close to being funny. And it just seemed like other than the judgment comes in and being like, other than being a huge like loser, is that. They just like they struck a chord at the time of everything with this like type of joking for them. I swear they think like they were like keeping it light and that in a way, and they just like felt like they found a place by throwing up like a Nazi salute, and they like gave no. In my opinion, they like. Literally, like they know the meaning, but they were just so stupid about it, and they just liked the attention. At least this Baked Alaska guy, and it was like so weird. And then it's like, well, unfortunate for you, but you're going to jail for it. But they were just like such misguided doofuses.
Yeah, let him sit in fucking jail.
Yeah,
and
Baked Alaska.
Comedian, provocateur, influencer, whatever. Like a horse by any name, you're still a fucking hateful fucking criminal. That guy wouldn't go bananas if they booked him for a feature spot.
Yeah, that's far from comedy. Yeah, right. I mean,
like comedian, like that guy has never been to the Ha Ha Lounge in Portland, Oregon.
No, you're absolutely right. He has never eaten mustard from the condo. So he's never performed once. Yeah, no, I know. I'm a comedian. I'm on the internet. I just think that's just like a shame, all the attention they got. But anyway, Kanye, he's also so lost, huh? How nuts. It made me, whatever.
He's done.
It's a nice gas station.
Thank you, man. And one last funny tidbit about that was a good friend of this gas station, Aaron Hamill, who owns and operates
the gas station.
Founded no, not the gas station. The record company, the famous record company, Ship to Shore.
Yeah.
Vinyl records, Ship to Shore. Anyway, he is not a Republican by any stretch, but he's very up to date on Q and conspiracy theories and Alex Jones. Just from a standpoint of fascination, from a standpoint of, there's nothing on the internet that gets by him because he's a genius, to be honest. He knows everything. So I just recall we laugh at how on the day of the Capitol riot, a picture came out. And immediately, being the genius he is, he's like, I sent him one of the pictures I see in the press, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's Q Shaman.
Yeah.
Right away, he can identify the guy in the Viking hat who stood on the Congress floor or whatever the fuck in the Capitol. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's Q Shaman. And it took the media like 3 days to identify the guy. But
he's always
to my friend's credit, he knew.
Right.
Yeah. It's not that good a story. I'll probably.
No, it is. It is. It's a nice. No, it makes sense. Yeah. Edit it all out.
I'm not recording.
Disney is so crazy because you still need, like, you could have a ticket, but you still need a park pass, and you could still, while you're in the park, you could still pay to get onto rides quicker. There's like different tiers of ways to pay to get on rides faster. They have like a Genie Plus system and stuff, so it seems like it's a little intense for some of the good, real high profile, popular rides. I don't know, but I have an enormous plan of attack. I'm writing on the windows, and I have long lines of string attached to thumbtacks all over the basement walls where I'm ready to go. But I really have paid a lot. I'm like, no, I'll do it. I'll get into it. I don't care. I'll plan it. And so the more I look into it, I'm like, this could be a lot of fun. But it's like, you can't even imagine anyone can. It's like you have to like forget about money for a second because you're like, wait, what? It's nuts.
You're going to end up paying a lot.
I sure am.
But I fucking love Disney. Listen to me.
Me too.
Which Magic Kingdom will you go to first? Magic Kingdom?
Yeah, there's
Boy.
we go to Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, then Epcot, and then Animal Kingdom. But you can
Wow.
park hop after 2 o'clock each day, so it's we'll bounce around. The days are long, and the park's open for a long time. We get early entry into each park, so it's it's pretty cool.
Wow, that's awesome. I freaking love Disney.
I do too. I always have a lot of fun when I go there. So I'm excited to take the children and push a stroller around Disney and see how they like it.
Sometimes I watch Disney rides on YouTube.
Oh my God. I didn't even think
And
about
then
doing that.
I read in the paper in New York City that there was a cop on vacation at Disney World in Orlando, and he spotted the guy he was investigating who was a fugitive in the Animal Kingdom, and they arrested him and locked him up. It was a guy from Queens who'd been wanted for like fraud charges, and this cop who was in charge of investigating it was on vacation and saw him.
Oh my God, that's crazy. That's wild. There was a time where I saw in the paper, I was at work and I looked at the 1-800 CrimeStoppers, and they had if you see these gentlemen, call 1-800 CrimeStoppers. Had 3 pictures, and for some reason I just looked at it and took it in. And soon after, I was on a little weekend getaway in Appalachia somewhere, and went to a casino in Cherokee, North Carolina. And as soon as I walked into the casino, I spotted a man sitting at this slot machine, and like a bolt of lightning, it occurred to me that this was the guy I saw in the ad. Wanted to aggravated assault for CrimeStoppers. So I froze, and my girlfriend that I was with at the time looked at me. She's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "We have to go." And she's like, "Okay." And she got it, and we turned around, we walked away, and I was like, because the guy looked at me, he didn't know shit, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" So I got back in the car to call CrimeStoppers, but we had no service. Oh. So I drove the Jeep down. I had a Jeep, guy.
The Jeep, not a Jeep.
Well, there was no top on it, so I was so afraid we're going to be driving, and then this guy's going
to no top is admittedly that's a Jeep thing, and you wouldn't understand.
You wouldn't understand, yeah. But he was going to T2, run after the car, jump on the Jeep. I was so afraid of this guy.
Wait, you threw the top on because you thought
no, he didn't have it on.
Jump in.
No, I just drove away fast and got down to service and got pulled into a gas station there. Actually, it might have been this gas station, and I called CrimeStoppers, and they were like, CrimeStoppers, and I was like, "Hi, I saw someone from the most recent ad in CrimeStoppers in this paper."
You're like, "Yeah, you know the one.
Yeah.
You know the ad."
And she goes, "Okay, well, where does he work?" And I'm like, Where does he work? I don't know. I'm like, I know where I work, and it's not for CrimeStoppers. I don't know where. She's like, well, we need to find out where he works, and you talk to his employer, and I was like, what? No, you told me to call if I see him. He's here. We have the guy. And they were just like, oh, and I'm like, and that was it. It just fizzled out. I was like, okay, so nothing, and they were like, no, it doesn't work like that. Oh, okay, well, you say to call CrimeStoppers if we see the guy. He's here. I can hold him till you arrive. But it was so stupid. It's like, what the heck? You tell me if I see something to say something. You didn't, And then I did. One other time in life, I called in New York City. I called 411 or whatever because I saw something. So I saw something and said something. I kept passing by the same suitcase on the street unattended over and over again.
And let me guess, they didn't care?
No, they did. That time they did. It had bumper stickers on it that said I love New York City, these random. And I'm like, who? This is Hans put this suitcase here. So I called 411 and I was like, there's a suitcase. I've been doing laundry all day, and I've been passing this suitcase on the corner. And they were like, okay, thank you. They were very appreciative, very polite. And I sat across the street, and the cops did show up in 3 minutes. It was outside this coffee shop, and I sat and watched. And
Wait, so that's how convinced you were that it was a bomb? You sat and sipped coffee and watched the bomb?
I just put on my welding mask and I just sat right close. No, I was far enough away that I don't know. At least I would get blasted. I didn't know what kind of technology it was, but they got in there. They looked at the suitcase, and then one of them went to the coffee shop, came out with a knife, and just started stabbing the suitcase with the knife. And I'm like, well, that's the technique. So I wanted to call back again and be like, I see something again. I see these police officers are stabbing this bomb. It was ridiculous. It was full of clothes. But not all heroes. Not all heroes wear capes.
A bunch of stabbed clothes.
Oh, it was so funny when they started stabbing it, because up until that moment, I was fully believed that there was an explosive device in it. And when they started, because the suitcase was locked, I guess they couldn't open it with their hands. So when they started to stab it with the knife, I was like, "Whoa!" The bomb squad's not even here yet.
It'd be great if you were like, no, wait, actually, I just remembered that's my suitcase.
That's my laundry. Oh, my God. I totally forgot I was doing laundry today. No wonder why I passed by that suitcase so many times. I was holding it.
I thought you were going to say that he went into the coffee shop, got a knife, and he started stabbing you.
The guy goes, he starts stabbing everybody. He takes the suitcase and runs. It's so crazy. Nobody cares to help, but they put those things in the paper for show. Nobody wants real help, There was a time I lived. Remember that apartment I lived in above, like the brothel, the first floor of the women. It was all women, and of
course. I've passed that. It's on 49th. You can see it.
I pop right in.
You can see the back porch of it. You had a little patio.
Oh yeah, the first floor was filled with women that would entertain clients. And one day, I get home from work and the building's on fire. There's black smoke billowing from the floor, the first floor, just coming out of the building. And there's men I've never seen before standing outside watching the smoke. Oh man. And I'm like, has anybody called the fire department? Did anyone call anybody? I think we should call the fire department because the building's on fire. And this one dude, well-dressed, definitely didn't live in the building, was like, now hang on a second. I don't know. This might not be a real fire. Hold on. And I was like, no, I live here. I'm going to call the fire department. Someone had a pan on the oven. It was great. But this guy was so funny. He's like, well, hang on one second. I don't know. It was so much smoke billowing out of the building.
He's just butt naked. He's like, no need to call my wife.
He's like, no, hold on one second. I'm covered in baby oil. I can't feel a thing. It's just fine. This isn't flammable. It's so funny.
Oh my God. I wonder if that's still a brothel.
Yeah, I wonder too.
And the owner of the building robbed your apartment, right?
Or the superintendent, the maintenance guy. I think he was in cahoots with the person who did the breaking and entering, but that person got caught. And then he denied it, but I kind of caught him too. And then
he came home one day and he was in there, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, and he walked in a few times, and then and then after the place was robbed and all that was done with, I had put up a big fight with the building manager that was like, we're taking our time moving out from here because your superintendent robbed us. I made a big deal. And so we were riding in the elevator, and he was just like, look, I am just a regular guy. I don't, he was making excuses. I do what I can to get by. And I'm like, fuck you.
You have him down, though, because he was in his 70s, a sleepy, drunk, addict Irish dude,
yes,
right?
Yes, he was, yes. Yeah, he was
sort of a lot of gray hair.
But he was sneaky because he'd be like, oh, I can get into every place. And then,
he literally walked in one time when you were cooking, I feel like, and then just walked right out, like Grandpa Simpson on The Simpsons.
Oh, my God, yeah. Some random dude in that apartment, one of his, staff walked in, and I was, in the living room with a girl. They did the same thing, walked in and walked out. And I'm thinking, and we changed the locks.
Oh my
I
God.
had all the locks changed, and he, I don't know how he did it. He was incredible. But he dropped a cigarette in my bedroom when he was robbing me, and that's how I caught him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and he didn't take anything from me, but he did take some stuff from my roommate, and I didn't have anything of value, and plus my room was such a mess that it's like, who's going to rob me? Like, if anyone robbed me, they would get stuck cleaning it up. They'd be like, oh, I need to straighten this place up a little. It looks like somebody robbed it. But they probably walked in my room. They were like, somebody already got to this one. So they didn't take anything. But I knew he was in there, so I was like, this guy robbed him, And he was a bad dude.
And the peak of it all was when you caught him. Your picture ended up in the New York Post, and the headline was like, landlord steals comedian's materials.
Something like that.
It really was.
It was like comedian robbed, not a laughing matter. And the picture of me I was so stoned in the picture. I don't know. I look at that. You can look back. It's so funny. I looked like I'm in the middle of, I don't know. I must have been like 28 at the time. And like, they wanted me to give like some hokey joke, and I wouldn't do it. And then they took a picture of me. I looked so silly. And then I worked for Sirius XM, and I had no say in that article getting run. And when I went to work the next Monday, I was getting like, people were icing me. Like they were being rude to me. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And these douchebags they're like, well, we know you have a publicist.
What? Because of the robbery article?
Yeah, they thought I was like cheating the system and like hiring a private publicist outside of the radio show that I worked on. They're like, no, you definitely have. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to publicize it. I'm stoned and getting robbed by a guy that lives 10 feet away. So stupid. But yeah, it was a nice article in the paper, and then I had to testify in front of the grand jury, in front of a grand jury, because of this the person that the guy worked with. She had.
Oh my God, it'd be funny if it was like it's like a jury of your peers, but it's all your coworkers from Sirius XM. It's like Taylor Strecca. I don't know.
Yeah, they're like, we'll be the judge of this, and they're like, no, there's a judge. You guys are just the jury. Hang on, how did you get this gig, Kenny? What do you mean?
I love that they thought you contrived that. PR, that's great.
So silly. Yeah, like, why would I wouldn't even think that. But anyway, having that robbery article in the Post is what landed me 6 seasons on Law & Order SVU. It all really just comes full circle. So I testify in front of the grand jury. The next day, I went to Disney.
Wow.
No, I didn't. But I wanted to say when the building was on fire, nobody cared to call the fire anyway because they didn't think they would show up. And that dude, of course, had an appointment downstairs.
It was a legitimate escort brothel situation, and it was being disguised as like a tarot card reading thing, and it took up the first floor of that apartment. This is like 2010 on 49th, and it was near the UN. The building with the apartments was right near the UN and Trump Tower. I love it. I don't know why I'm describing it, but
yeah,
I couldn't believe that was operating like that in 2010. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah, and everybody was like, everyone knew. And the police would even ran through because one of the recent, like when I lived there, a man with a knife ran through the first floor. And the cops that came and investigated my robbery were telling the story of how they know what goes on the first floor based on that day they chased the guy with a knife through there. And so they were like, we opened up, one guy was like, I busted open a door, and there was a guy and a girl in the room, and the guy's like, please, don't. And he was like, no, I'm looking for another guy. Like, this is just, because he thinks that the cop was like, people think we can just like be like, this, you're going to, he's like, it would take a year to break that up, or whatever he was saying. It's like, I can't just walk in. And they had no interest in breaking it up. whatever.
Yeah, because they were probably the clients.
I mean, it was it was interesting. It was an interesting place.
New York City is messed up, man. It's messed up.
I just read today that they're going to start shipping off people involuntarily again, mental health. The Giuliani way to clean up the streets that your Mayor Adams, I think, just said.
Well, I look forward to my ride.
So I guess I'll pick you up in Buffalo in a week.
Oh, my God.
After
I was recently
5150.
remembering. I went to Buffalo one time, and it was with you. You did stand-up. You brought me with you. Thank you.
Oh, gosh,
And
you're welcome.
They just had historic snowfall in Buffalo, and when you and I went, probably around 2013, there was also historic snowfall there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the National Guard was driving in when we were on the highway, and you were like, it's so weird that we're driving to a stand-up show, and the National Guard is also driving in.
Oh, that is
man.
so foretelling, because now when I do shows, I usually have to perform with some National Guard with me. Wow, that's crazy. Wow, I don't remember shit. That's crazy. Yeah, right. I don't remember. I remember more of the chicken farms we passed and the trucks full of chickens than that, but I do. Yeah, right. Buffalo. Yeah.
Well, it's good talking to you, man.
It's the best. Thanks for letting me fill up and fuel up and fill you up with stories of my life. You're a good friend and a great gas attendant. I gotta go.
Wait, you don't have to leave just yet, though. I had a few more things that I wanted to say to you, real quick ones.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Man, it's just the type of thing where once I say goodbye, I'm going to think of 5 more things I wanted to talk to you about. But
I have 5 or so more minutes, so if you want, well, I'm fine with letting you pull it from the ether or whatever.
I don't know, man. I heard Rob Delaney interviewed, and he shouted out WFNX in Boston.
Really?
I mean, that station obviously is not there anymore, but it's the one you helped build because you hosted the WFNX morning show, and he was shouting it out because his book is a reference to a Juliana Hatfield song, I think, that he heard
really?
on FNX. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, it was a cool place. That's awesome. Yes, that's a Clear Channel station now. And college
It's weird because I think
I'm sorry.
I think in 92.3 and K-Rock in New York, it's now 1010 Wins. Like they play the AM station on 92.3 K-Rock.
Oh, do they really? The greatest 1010 Wins is one of the greatest radio stations that's ever been made, right? In my opinion. That's cool. I guess they do. That's neat. 1010 Wins a great news station.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll talk to you now.
Yeah. I do have to go, but it was, thanks for hanging out. I
want to hear more about your planning before you go to Disney and a lot of other things. So please keep me in the loop and don't be a stranger, man?
Absolutely, I will. You got it. Wait, yeah, all right. I'm going to, you let me know when we're not recording, and then I'll tell you the good stuff.
All right. We're not recording. Go ahead.
It's recording.
No, I can't stand to lie to you. We're still recording. Let me just stop.
See ya.
Yeah, Kenny.